Today, I'm going to be talking about the upcoming video game Dispatch because I think that it has the potential to possibly shake up the genre that it's in. Just like in classic Breely fashion, I'm doing this super late because literally the game comes out tomorrow, but I thought I'd just share my opinion on this anyway. I think that they could do what Baldur's Gate 3 did to, I don't even know what genre you would even call it, the role-playing D&D type genre, but for the point-and-click or choose-your-own-adventure type games. Even more of a recent example, what Expedition 33 did to the turn-based genre, but of course, like I said, to the choose-your-own-adventure type genre, where it'll somewhat revolutionize and possibly elevate the standards to what one of these choose-your-own-adventure games could be in the future, as opposed to how they are now. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, what's wrong with you? Go and look at the trailer for it. Now, obviously, if you clicked on this video because of Dispatch or because you like the genre, you already know about it. But if by chance you don't, Dispatch is a point-and-click or choose-your-own-adventure game, similar to Until Dawn, The Quarry, like Telltale's The Walking Dead, or other similar Telltale-type games. Now that I mentioned Telltale, the company actually making the game is made up of former Telltale employees and devs, and I think like other companies as well, like Ubisoft, and I can't remember the third one, like Nightfall or something. And some of these people are responsible for some of Telltale's most like successful games, like The Walking Dead, The Wolf Among Us, Tales from the Borderlands, like the good Telltale games. But basically the premise is you're a superhero, kind of like Iron Man. You have like a suit. At some point you like lose your suit, and then so you end up working at a superhero dispatch company where you send out superheroes for emergencies or missions as they come in, kind of like a police dispatch unit or like an emergency services dispatch unit where you're the person in the center call telling people where to go. This leads into why I think that this could possibly be a game changer in this genre. The premise, like I previously mentioned, is very interesting. And of course, with these types of games, the story is like the main draw, one of the main reasons why you play these games, because you want to see what happens throughout it. You want to kind of influence your decisions, kind of, for the most part, influence what's happened. How well the characters are written, is it entertaining? And based on the previous games that these same people have worked on, I'd say we're in very capable hands in that department. The animation and art style are very top-notch. It looks very, very good. I legit thought when I had first seen this trailer back when I think they initially announced it during like a Gamescom type event, I legit thought that it was going to be like a spin-off animated show based in the Invincible cartoon. And I was like, oh, they're already getting like a spin-off for this series. And I kind of wrote it off, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll check it out whenever it comes out. But then colored me shocked when I found out later that it was like, no, it's a video game. And also it's a point and click, which, I've played quite a few of them. They're up my alley. I'm like, oh shit, this is great. It looks so smooth and fluid, like you're actually watching an animated show. We won't have to worry about it looking janky or awkward, at least character model wise, during cutscenes, because that's definitely a noticeable thing when you play these like older Telltale games, which, don't get me wrong, I still enjoy and like those types of games. I actually just recently played through The Walking Dead season 1 all the way to the final season, but it's definitely very noticeable if you play them. You're like, it feels kind of dated in that department. You could definitely tell when you're looking at it that it's like, oh yeah, it's a video game, right? The character models look a little bit stiff. The movements look a little bit off. You can tell you're looking at a video game, not like a show or something. Which, like I said, to be fair for the time, it was okay, like for that type of thing. It was over like 10 plus years ago. But with Dispatch, and I bet not just myself, but others have also, when they first saw it, mistook it for like an animated TV series that would go up on like Amazon Prime or something, or Netflix. Now on to what I definitely think is the main reason why I think that this could possibly push into mainstream, just the game will just pop off into popularity. The gameplay itself, I think, is such a huge game changer because there's actual gameplay this time. Usually the gameplay of point and click and choose your own adventure type games are mostly consist of like choosing between which dialogue options, of like how would you like to respond or steer the conversation. And there's also the occasional like real time, I guess, portions of the game where you're standing around and you go and you maybe like talk to people, or you go like look for clues, or inspect the environment. But it's like really, it's really like static. You're the only one moving, no one else is kind of like really doing anything, right? It's not like, that's sort of the extent to gameplay in these games. But in Dispatch, there's like actual gameplay, and it seems like it may be a significant portion of the game. Plus, it's also pretty fun. I was like, oh damn, I was pleasantly surprised. And so basically, you have a roster of heroes to choose from, and there's missions or emergencies that will pop up here and there on like a map, because you're sitting at a control center, basically a computer. And then you'll have to pick and choose which hero or even heroes to send to certain missions or to not send to other ones, because each mission has certain requirements or attributes needed to complete the mission, or to at least do like a good job on the mission. I haven't really, at least during the demo when I had played it, I hadn't like failed one, but I'm sure you probably can, or at least maybe do the mission, complete it, but it does it poorly. And also each hero has different abilities, strengths and weaknesses that would be better for some missions and obviously not for others. So like, for example, if you need like a speedster, you would send the person that's really quick to do this mission. If you need someone that's silent, you send the person that's more of like a stealthy hero. If there's like a charisma, talking to the public, where maybe you don't want to scare the public, don't send the dude that looks like a monster out there. You send him to a different mission. Ultimately, adding this somewhat almost roguelike-ish gameplay to the game, I think is like a very smart idea. I think it's very ingenious, and I definitely think more point and click games should add like roguelike elements or gameplay into their games. I believe that it would definitely help that genre a lot, because I feel like a lot of the general population maybe won't enjoy those type of games as much, because there isn't like that type of fun gameplay mixed into it. So obviously by adding that, you can also add in a whole bunch of more people that would actually maybe wouldn't have played this type of game before, and then maybe they'll check it out because the gameplay is actually really fun. That being said, I think you should only add in these roguelike elements if it makes sense to like the game or the plot. Don't just add it in just for the sake of adding it in. I will say the only thing that I'm kind of unsure about is the like hacking sort of mini game. So there's you sending out heroes to each mission, and obviously like in the beginning it's kind of easy, but then I could see obviously later in the game when it gets harder, for the requirements maybe get harder for the missions, and when like it gets a lot more hectic because they're sending out more and more missions. But there's also like a hacking mini game where I don't know, it's not like as fun. I guess it's a nice little break from what you're doing. From what I remember, I think there's like a little, you choose which way you go, and then they kind of added the QuickTime events. I don't know if there's going to be QuickTime events in other sections that you can do, but they kind of added like the QuickTime events into this, where you're rolling like a ball and then it goes to like a node, and then you have to, quickly hit the buttons in the right order for it to progress and for you to keep going. I guess to successfully hack or unhack or whatever it is you're doing in the moment. We'll wait and see how it plays out in the full game. The last but not least, the star power cast may be beneficial to the game. You have like recognizable names like Aaron Paul, who is on Breaking Bad and like other pretty big name movies, and also other like really big recognizable voice actors names. And even if you don't know who they are by recognizing their name, you definitely heard their voices before, because they're literally in almost everything. Laura Bailey, Matt Mercer. And there's a bunch of like popular YouTubers, which is kind of neat too. There's like Moist Critical, Jacksepticeye, other ones that I'm not as familiar with, which could bring in a bunch of new fans too, or fans that maybe wouldn't have played the game before, but now they're going to because their favorite YouTubers in it. I'm definitely quite excited for this game, as you can tell. But that being said, I do have some concerns that I feel like could hurt the launch of the game. The major one being that there are 8 episodes in total, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's confirmed. But instead of releasing the entire story or episodes all at once, like during the game's release, they're doing 2 episodes per week. So literally later today, the first 2 episodes will come out, then the next week will be the next 2, and then the following week will be the next 2 episodes after that. While it is better than once a week, I just don't really know why they insist on doing this. I don't know why they're like, we need to do this like a TV series, like it's Amazon Prime or Netflix or something. Like, I don't know whether it's like their publisher or something, but I'm pretty sure they aren't with a publisher anymore. I'm not sure if it's a publisher thing or they just want to do it because it's similar to a TV series thing, because they also did this similar to when they were working at Telltale. And I know the counter argument is like, yeah, but back in the day it was way worse. And like, yes, you're right. Back in the day it was during like, I believe The Walking Dead Telltale game, and I think probably others. I think it was months between each episode. So literally like episode 1 was, let's say, like January, and then episode 2 was all the way in April or something. Which, like, that's insane. Like, that's definitely... you would forget what the fuck was happening in the story, for sure. While, yes, it's better now, I still think releasing it all at once is better than doing, like, this sort of TV series, streaming service release. And I do think it does work on very popular, like, TV series. So, like, Stranger Things or Game of Thrones, for example. There is the potential there to gain hype between each episode, and maybe you can theory craft and people can discuss it. And I definitely do think releasing weekly can keep shows in zeitgeist longer than like if you just release everything all at once, because then you release everything all at once and then everyone talks about it for like a week and then then people don't talk about it anymore. But at least if it's like weekly, it's like, oh, you like, oh, my show's back, and you have something, you do have something to look forward to every week, and like you're like, oh, my show's back, and now I can discuss it with people and like, oh, did you see this? Did you see that? While like it can work for some, I think for a lot of things, for a lot of series, and there's a lot higher chance of it backfiring than actually helping you. Mostly because on the off chance that, like, let's say there are some episodes that are weaker than others, or just not as good, or maybe there's like it's a filler episode, then people may not be as excited for the next week's episode, right? Because then your hype falls, your excitement for it falls off. You're like, oh, I don't really care too much, and then you're like, I don't really care about waiting this whole week for it. Although that being said, I do think having the 2 episodes per week will help mitigate this, because then even if, like, let's say one episode, like episode 3 maybe isn't more of a slower episode, then episode 4 maybe might be able to pick it up. I just feel like there's definitely a lot higher of a chance, like the drop off chance is a lot higher if you do like this whole weekly thing. And then someone who maybe was interested, instead of sticking around, they maybe aren't as willing to stick it out weekly to continue the story, right? This works for streaming services or TV because, well, TV because that's how it was back in the day. But like streaming services, it can work because you're not paying for one particular show, right? You're paying for the whole service, and then you can pick and choose what shows you want to watch. I feel like a video game is different, where you're specifically paying for this one video game, and then they're like, okay, here you go, but then you don't get the whole episode. You don't get, the whole story. You just only get like 2 episodes, and then you have to wait. I feel like that doesn't really work for a video game as much as opposed to like streaming service or something, where there's a lot more things you can watch, and you're not just solely paying for one show. It's not like you're paying like a PlayStation, like it's not like you're paying like a gaming subscription, play all these many different games, but then this game happens to be one of them that you can play. I feel like it just could work better if it was all released at once. Because even if there are weaker episodes or filler ones, then there's a lot higher of a chance of you just being like, okay, well, I'll just continue, because literally I could just play the whole game right now if I wanted to. I could literally sit down and play through the whole game in one sitting if I wanted to, because I believe it's like an hour per episode, so it's 8 hours, around 8 hours, as opposed to maybe if you hit a slow or episode, or you're maybe not as interested. Like I said, there's that 1 week thing, and then you're like, well, maybe maybe I'll just drop it. Like there's a lot higher of a chance of it dropping, like I said, because like Dark Pictures does this where they just release all the episodes out at once. So it's not like it's a industry standard where you have to do this. Like Dark Pictures, which is the other big game studio that does point and click games, release their entire game all at once. You can play it all in one day if you wanted to. Not to mention too the flip side of maybe you're not as excited, so you're gonna drop it off when the next week's episode rolls around. The flip side of that is also true, where could be true where maybe you're so excited you're like, oh, I want to keep playing, and then all of a sudden it cuts right to the credits. You're like, oh, it's getting so good, I'm so excited, but then you're like, I want to play this, I want to play the next episode, but then it's like, no, sorry, that's it. Now you gotta wait a week, and you're like, oh, and then your hype dies down or your excitement dies down. I mean, it's a week, like especially in like internet times, a week is kind of a long time. Things go by really quickly, and like you're gonna be like, am I gonna be still as excited to play through the whole thing if I have to wait? On how it could backfire. There is the Expanse Telltale video game that came out with that. It was also on the, I believe it was it weekly? I think it was weekly or every 2 weeks schedule to release each episode. But because the game wasn't that good, it just like, I feel like that just hurt more than it actually helped in any way. Because now it's like, okay, and people aren't even that excited to play the game. And on top of that, now you have to wait like a week or 2 weeks for each episode, which you're not even really excited to play anymore. Now you could say, hey, really, well, you could just wait for when all the episodes are released, wait until the last week when all of it are when all the episodes are released, and then play it through there, and play it then. And that is true, yeah, for sure. But the risk of this is that potentially you could be getting the story spoiled, or the plot, or like major plot points or twists, because especially in a story-based game, that's a lot of the main gameplay of it, right? Or that's the main thing you're playing it for. By accidentally scrolling through, YouTube or Reddit, like you don't even mean to, and you just come across a spoiler by accident because someone put it in the title or something. And my final concern, something that's not really specifically like Dispatch's concern, I guess you could say, but more as like the genre as a whole. Is it gonna be like multiple different endings? Is the variety of the endings gonna be very different? Are you gonna be able to become a superhero again? Are you gonna be able to just maybe retire, work there, be on good terms with the people, maybe be on bad terms with them, have like a good ending, bad ending? Like, is there gonna be multiple different endings? Is there gonna be a bunch of variety of the different decisions you can make? And like I said, this isn't primarily only a Dispatch issue. This is just could be a concern for any point and click type game anyway. It's a concern for any type of these games when you go into it, because you're like, oh, is there the whole illusion of choice where, a lot of the times the people who are making the games, the devs, want you to go certain ways or choices. They want you to go to a certain path or choice, right? Like you have to go to jail or something in this scene, and they specifically made it to where you have to go there. So it doesn't really matter what choice you pick. You're just you choose A or B, and you end up going to the same thing anyway. The whole like illusion of choice thing. A Little Hope, for example, in the Dark Pictures anthology, is ranked probably very low, and also the casting is Frank Stone as well. One of the many reasons is because there really isn't that much variety between what you can do, and like the endings, literally there's very little difference between them. Compare that to something like Man of Dawn, which is also in the Dark Pictures anthology, where there's a lot of variety and there's a lot of different endings. You can have like an entire whole character that you can play as throughout the whole game just completely drop off if you choose to do one choice, and he doesn't show up for like the rest of the entire game, like for half the game. He just like disappears. But yeah, I definitely think that there'll be good enough variety in this one, so I'm not as concerned in this department. These are just how I think it potentially could be a game changer type game in this genre, and also my concerns with the game a little bit. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Do you guys agree? Do you guys not? I guess we'll know like immediately, because by classic Breloom standards, I'm doing this super late. The game literally like comes out tomorrow, I believe. The first 2 episodes. I will definitely be playing it. So if you guys want, you can come check me out. My Twitch down below. The link is down below. But I think I'm gonna wait until like the final week before I start playing it, because then I could just play the whole game instead of like having to wait a week between each of the 2 episodes. I do enjoy this type of games. I have played quite a few of them. Like I said, I played quite a lot of the Telltale ones. I recently played through the Walking Dead one. I want to play through The Wolf Among Us. I know what happens in it, but I want to play through it personally myself. I I enjoy dragging out my friends and dragging them along to play the Dark Pictures anthology games. I do have us playing through it on my channel. You can probably find the videos. We played through all of them, like The Man of Dawn, Little Hope, House of Ashes. We will be playing the next one, which I'm looking forward to. Directive 8020, whenever that comes out next year, so that'll be fun. You can check us out there on Twitch whenever it comes out and whenever we play it. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this little commentary video, I guess. I guess we'll see if I'm right or not shortly, very soon, because the first well, at least, I mean, we'll have to wait till the whole episode. We'll have to wait till a few weeks later until the entire game drops, but we'll know quickly on some other things or not, based on, literally the game comes out tomorrow. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video, whatever I decide to upload next, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.